What is the best cyber insurance for a startup company? There are a few things we have to talk about. Here we go. Hi, Ryan Hanley here, founder and president of Rogue Risk, where we do insurance differently, specifically by giving you knowledge and information to make the right insurance decision. If you find value in this content, please just tap that like button. That tells YouTube to show this piece of content to more professionals like yourself. Okay, so cyber liability. Now, the first thing you might be saying is, Ryan, the best cyber liability policy for a startup is the cheapest policy, and I'm not gonna debate that. Look, like Rogue Risk was a startup at one time too. I know what that's like. I know that you're trying to gauge risk, reward, cost, all those kinds of things, and price definitely is part of the equation. So I'm gonna talk through that in a second. But at a high level, what we want to find is a carrier that is going to provide all three portions of a cyber liability policy: first party, third party, and crime. Those are the three major portions of a cyber liability policy. There are all kinds of coverages and supplements underneath that we could discuss and break them down. We have a ton of content on this channel, on our website about cyber liability. So if you have specific questions, we can dive into some of those. But the first thing we want to make sure is that we're covering all three sections. If you don't have all three sections, then you don't really have a cyber liability policy, a full spectrum cyber liability policy, and any reduced cost you're paying to maybe just have first party or just first and third party and not having crime, I'm going to tell you that is a waste of money. It is not worth buying a standalone cyber liability policy that does not have all three portions of a cyber liability insuring agreement, I guess you could say. If you only want first party or only with first party and a small amount of third party, look to a company like Hartford or Chubb that will endorse those onto your business owner's policy. Now, I don't recommend that. I'm just saying if you're really hurting for scratch and you're trying to get some form of cyber protection on your policy, I think it's an okay way to get something, but I would not say that you have cyber liability coverage or that you are even close to having what's probably adequate, because there's gonna be all kinds of sublimits and stuff, maybe as high as like $25,000, which is next to nothing when you have a cyber liability claim today. So make sure you're getting a standalone policy with all three portions of cyber liability insuring agreement on it, and then we need to dive into the sublimits. Now, what we do here is we shop you out to about 9 different carriers, and we use a spreadsheet to kind of break down, here's why I would choose, say, at Bay versus CFC in this particular example, or let's go to Chubb, or Hartford's policy, or Coalition, Corvus. There's so many different carriers today that are covering the spectrum of startup cyber liability risks that we can then get into kind of the specifics of how you operate. What you're doing. Do you have remote employees? Are you doing business overseas? Are you selling overseas or just using overseas developers? Where is the tech? Are you using open source tech, your own tech? What is actually available to the public? What are some of the gateways that cyber criminals could get in? There's a lot of different discussions that we have here. These aren't long conversations, but they are conversations that you should have. And ultimately, you can boil down to the best cost-benefit analysis. What is the policy that's going to give me the most coverage, maybe some sublimits, but at a price that I can afford? Or, hey, we have a little more money for this. Our product is fully digital. We need to make sure we're protected here. So we'll spend a little bit more and we can maybe lift some of those sublimits or add a few endorsements on. That's kind of how the give and take goes when you're purchasing what ultimately will be the best cyber liability policy for your startup. If this sounds like the kind of relationship you'd like to have with your insurance broker, give us a call. We work in all 50 states. You can call us at 518-960-6600. We can work with you wherever you are. You can email us at gorogue@roguerisk.com. You can visit us online at roguerisk.com, or I'm sure there's a button or a link somewhere around this video that lets you contact us. Whichever way you choose, we look forward to working with you.